Today, the 16th of December 2024. I'm your host, Nathaniel Newton, and today again in studio, I have with me, as usual, Maria Hawkins.
Good morning, Nate.
Good morning. I also brought a guest. I've got a good friend of mine, Zach. Hey, Zach, how's it going?
It's going great, Nate. Thanks for having me.
Yes.
Awesome. I'm going to start off with our land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that we broadcast from the unceded territory of the Algonquin people. And we thank the Anishinaabe peoples for their stewardship of this land even before we came. Which,
Thank you, Maria. We're getting so close to the solstice. It's actually this Saturday. You go out in the morning and you see it's completely dark, and you go home and it's 4:30 and it's already almost nighttime outside. Today, though, will be a little bit of a mess out there because we're starting to get a little bit of rain and flurries and slushiness this afternoon, so I would just be safe and go slow. The highway is a little bit congested right now, more than normal. Of course, you always have the sections over by Westboro that's always bumper to bumper, but on the eastbound over by the museums and downtown, it's a little bit more busy than usual. So,
shopping.
yeah, that's probably
Well, the
it.
kids are in school. What else they gonna do? Shop, 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 shop. Take the kid out. Shop, shop, shop. Yeah, there are certain traditions that are, well, they're just shopping related for some people as opposed to. I like to just share good feelings and good vibes with people. Zach, you always give off such a good vibe. You're such an easygoing kind of guy, except when people want to rile you.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that later today.
And we do have a subject in mind today. Yeah, we do have one that will.
And I appreciate you letting me come on and express my feelings on that.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
hey, how
happy
come
that
we?
you're here to do that.
That's right. How can we let somebody off the hook when they got such a radio voice? For heaven's sake, come on! I'm just saying, we got to teach them how to tech. That way, if Nate, if you got to take a day off, at least I got a backup.
Hey, that's an idea. We'll see. Like, maybe we can persuade you to come in here to volunteer here. You can figure out some way to get credit for it. Because you're also a student here, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, law and legal studies, undergrad.
That's a lot of fun, I would imagine. I say that a little bit sarcastically. But
Oh, yes, looking at, 100-year-old documents, half scrawled in handwriting on a website that you can barely comprehend, let alone navigate. It's a real time. I recommend everyone, include your children. Get your children on this. It's great.
Yeah, well, it must be fun though, like listening to that, reading all that, and coming home and I've got some random lawyer on YouTube that I'm blasting through the house.
Always makes my day. I feel like I brought a little bit of school home.
Anyway, so yesterday we went over to the Bella Vista restaurant. That's on Alta Vista Drive, 2645 Alta Vista, right by the Food Basics. Actually, no, it's a No Frills. It used to be an independent grocer, and then I went in one day, and there's these signs everywhere saying we are switching. We're going to become a No Frills on such and such date, and this is going to happen. And
Is that the store where the folks that were union lost their union?
yes, that is exactly it. And apparently, it's happened several locations as well. So I asked the cashier, "Are you going to be able to keep your job?" And the cashier's like, "Well, kind of. They all offered us positions in the new store, but they'll be going from a unionized job to a non-unionized job." And I'm like, that sounds like some shenanigans to me. What's your union rep think about it? And he's like, "Oh, well, she's all for it. She thinks it's the best thing ever." And I'm like, shenanigans. There's some shenanigans happening there.
See,
That-
I was under the impression that No Frills was in a similar vein to Independent, owned by the
Loblaws?
larger Loblaws conglomerate.
Right.
I'd have to double check to see exactly who their parent company are, because there's only 2 or 3 of them.
Exactly.
In all of there's the blue, there's the green store, there's the yellow store, and then there's the red store. I think it's mostly green and yellow that you think of between Food Basics and
Yeah.
No Frills.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
But I don't think they're owned by the same company. I'd have to double check. Because one of them is there. You got the President's Choice Loblaws brands, and then you got the other one, which is
The no name?
Select.
I think it's National Grocers based. I'd have to double check. I don't want to put out any misinformation on that one. But then we got on a sidetrack. So we were going to the restaurant there. They have amazing, amazing pizza. Because we had a bit of a duel. That's hard. Say that 5 times fast. A Yule duel between Chris White and our favorite Tony Turner, visiting from Nanaimo, BC.
I love him. And how did that go?
Well, they're saying it's going to be the first annual one. We packed the half that size at the side of the restaurant. We put a great big table. The restaurant staff did it. I didn't do it. I'm the camera guy. So the restaurant staff put a big table down the middle of the restaurant, and it was filled with people. All there at about 2 in the afternoon. It was from 2 to 4 in the afternoon for lunchtime on the Sunday. And yeah, so they go back and forth between the two of them. One would play one song, one play the other song. I'll see if I can get a clip for it later in this episode because I just want to curate the clip. I'll do that while one of the other songs is playing. But yeah, then at the end of it, the audience clapped to signify who won by was it Tony? Was it Chris? And of course, everybody here is one of Chris's friends, so they're used to hearing Chris play music and are excited to see Tony, who flew in from Nanaimo. So, of course, Tony wins, and well, we'll be hopefully doing it again in the future. But what we have coming up again on this Saturday, we have another Canadian Spaces live in the community broadcast. We've done it from a bunch of different locations, from Irene's, the Mayfair Theatre, the Gladstone Theatre, Redbird. Actually, I don't know if we've done a live show from Redbird yet. I don't think so. I don't think it's worked out because of the school of music that they have there. But we've done quite a few different places. Irene's a number of times. But we'll be at the Bella Vista restaurant this Saturday.
Where is that?
So that's, do you know the Salvation Army by that Food Basics No Frills that we talked about 10 minutes for?
Yeah.
So right in that little plaza between the UPS store and the Salvation Army.
Alta Vista and Bank.
Yes. Across the street from the car dealership of, I don't remember what kind of car. There's cars dealerships all over there. But yeah, so it's right at the corner of Alta Vista and Bank in that little Alta Vista Plaza. Not the one with the
No, as soon
shawarma place, but the one on the other side.
as you say Salvation Army, I know exactly where it is.
Yes, exactly. So, well, the reason I'm mentioning it right now is I walked over to the guy there and I said, "Hey, this is really fun. I live in this area, so I've been by this store dozens of times, but I never had the pizza here. It's great. It's really good." And he handed me a pile of gift certificates. So,
Gold.
if you come up to me at Canadian Spaces Live on this Saturday, I have a handful of $10 gift certificates that are good for $10 off with the purchase of one main course equal of greater value, lunch and dinner only. So,
Nice.
if you come up to me and ask, I have 8 of these. So
He has a
I'm sure
mittful.
you'll still have one if you come up and ask for one. If you come over to the Bella Vista restaurant to see Canadian Spaces Live in person this Saturday at 10 a.m.
At 10 a.m.
Yes, I'll be there before 10, but the show always goes from 10 to 12 because we broadcast live onto the air.
And you can listen back to our show as well as Canadian Spaces on ckcufm.com. When you go to the website, there is the on-demand feature. Our show is called Monday Special Blend, but there are plenty of fun, cool shows.
There's so many.
Well, Christoph, what's this show called?
Songs of the Revolution.
Songs of the Revolution.
That's
You should-
tomorrow at I believe it's 8:30 segment. I can check. in
Please
2
check.
seconds.
There's somebody you would enjoy visiting. I'm telling you, on his show, he's a very cool, and he writes just great stuff. As a matter of fact, can we play one of Christoph's songs today?
Yeah,
You
that's a
think we
good
could squeeze
idea.
one in? That would be awesome. I'd love that. Today we're this is Hats Off Month, of course, so we're paying tribute to local artists. And I know somebody called in last week and asked for an American band, and I won't say the name of the band, and they're good, and we do enjoy them. But I've been trying to keep the show focused on Canadian acts, and not just local, but I do promote a lot of local because We've got such an amazing, amazing amount of musicians that are languishing, that need work, that need public acknowledgement, that need places to perform. And if we don't give them a platform here, where are they going to go? So that means that if you're a local artist and you want me to play your music on our show, my email is maria@mariahawkins.ca, and I'd be glad to add it in. It's kind of like it's kind of like a mission, just to let people know that that music is out there, and you get to hear stuff you're never going to hear anywhere else. That's the jewel of it all. Absolutely.
Well, I've queued up a couple of songs here from Christoph that I want to play. The first one I'm going to do here is Seize the Moment, which is one of my favorite ones that
Oh,
he's
I
done.
love that one.
And then after that, we've got a funny one. Well, funny, sad, angry, scream into the closet, yelling, kind of funny.
Are we going to do them back to back?
Yes,
Excellent. On CKCU FM.
93.1. And his show is tomorrow at 8:30. So definitely check it out.
All right. Hee
Well, I didn't
Just fine, just fine.
Good fun is right. And we just kind of flow. We're trying to deliver
something wonderful built about around music, around poetry, around community, and unfortunately, that has come to an end.
How long were you part of that?
I had been attending the open mics that were held there for about 8 months before the closure was announced.
But do you know how long Haven had been?
Oh, years. I heard it's gone back, quite a number of years. It started out as a bookstore for students. Then they pivoted to a cafe, and that was its most recent incarnation. And it allowed students to come to a place away from the stresses and pressures of campus to allow themselves to study, to get together, to really be themselves and be people.
Wow. But who was it run under the auspices of? What?
This was a business run by the Carleton Student Association.
And so
CUSA.
and so it was their decision to close it?
That's right. They stated in a financial audit that was done that Haven was going to drive them to the ground. They stated at a hearing, or rather a council meeting, that Haven had dug so deep into their coffers that CUSA itself was at risk of closing, of being unsustainable. Now, there's a few people in the community, especially those that worked at Haven, that will dispute this and say otherwise, but I'm not nearly versed enough on the topic to give any specific numbers.
Yeah, the more I look into it, the more the rabbit hole it seems to be. I know you're the person who sent me Chidima. Do you know how to pronounce her name?
Kieran.
No, I don't know if I'm talking about the same person. But she was writing an article about it.
Oh, yes, there were a couple journalism students that were doing pieces on it. Now, to be fair, it has been reported on for quite some time, leading up to the closure as well. In fact, that is initially how people found out it was closing, was an article from the Charlotte. Even the people who worked there weren't told in advance. They were given very short notice, and not even through official channels. They found out through this article that their place of work was closing.
Is this something that could have possibly been turned over to the community, that been taken on by the community rather than, I mean, were there proposals made? I mean, I know that you weren't involved in stuff that way, but do you think there could have been some kind of negotiation with the city of Ottawa, with the community?
Absolutely, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
If they'd been given enough time.
If they'd been given enough
If they
time.
hadn't been only given 3 weeks. 3 weeks is kind of like, ish.
3 weeks more or less.
Ish.
Absolutely, ish.
Isn't really enough time to kind of even get in touch with people and have them get back to you and have these meaningful discussions about what can be done.
Absolutely. Now, there was actually, when this was found out, there was created a Change.org petition that was passed out to the community, and it garnered 1,300 signatures in about a week.
Wonderful.
So 1,300 people who cared enough about this place that they didn't want to see it close. And now here's the thing. I went to one of these council meetings with CUSA and some of the heads of CUSA, some of the leaders, right there discussing the closure. And I asked the question, at what point was the community consulted? At what point were discussions had with the students, with the community? And their response was, oh, we didn't have time for that. But you could consult financial advisor after financial advisor, but you couldn't consult the very community you purport to support.
So it's kind of like you already made the decision, and now we're going to have a talk about it. But the decision's already rock solid, been made. It's already a done deal.
That's exactly right.
Surprising how many things happen like that in Ottawa. Well, maybe I shouldn't be surprised. I'm 67 years old. I was born here. And funny things happen sometimes in Ottawa that don't give people enough time to fight against the closures. Like, I don't know, Covenant House, women's support centers, just stuff that we all need. One thing that I have to say about Carleton is the students that I have met that have been graduates that are out there in the community hold high places and places of respect in our community.
Mm-hmm.
And the students that I've met that are studying here are very dedicated, energized people who really want to make a difference in this world. And so maybe we need to get some of the alumni working with people, especially alumni that may have a little bit of push and pull, maybe $1 or $2, that could help recreate this scene. Losing an out of campus zone is devastating, and I get that, no doubt. I'm wondering how can we start a discussion around the recreation, let's do this again,
Absolutely.
but not with them.
Absolutely. And at this time, a couple people, Ben Kistner and one of his other co-workers, Kieran, have been on the hunt looking for a new location for these open mics, because it really forms such an amazing community that even with the loss of the body of Haven, its soul persists and is now looking for new residents.
I love that. That makes me smile. It makes you smile too. We're both smiling real big. Nate's not smiling yet.
Well, I've been doing some more research about Haven, and it's been around since 2007, actually. And I actually went on a private tour of the upstairs location, upstairs offices there. Have you been in that? Do you know what's upstairs?
I had been up there a number of months back, and from what I heard, this was a very recent renovation.
Yeah, this is just finished because from the Charlatan as of October 31st, 2024, so a month and 2 months and a half ago. Haven opens new study spaces focused on versatility and productivity, because I went there with Chris White. There's a whole podcasting studio for shooting video and audio live, like for producing YouTube videos or producing Spotify podcasts if you want to do that. There's a whole conferencing room, large conferencing room with a big, nice table, nice chairs with a separate room off to the side. There's a microwave. There's, I think, a sink and stuff, like a half kitchenette type of thing. So you could very easily have a private conference and potluck type of thing there that is all rentable. And this was just opened as of October 15th. Like, there's pictures of it on their Instagram still. You can go and take a look at it at the Haven Connect Instagram, which hasn't been updated to show that the place is closed. There's the Haven Instagram, and then there's Haven Connect. Haven Instagram shows closed permanently. This account not frequently monitored. Please email CUSA if you want to know anything more. But the Haven Connect just looks like it's business as usual for a brand new, recently opened.
And run by.
And it's part of Haven. It's the upstairs. It's a two-story thing. Downstairs is the place where they have the poetry, the open mics, the cafe where the books used to be for sale. And upstairs is a whole other section of the place that just was renovated and opened. So I'm very confused of why you would spend all the money that they did on that. Why they would say, oh, well, we've lost a whole bunch of money this year and then just say throw in the towel. Oh well, I guess we spent too much. We can't do it anymore. We just wasted a bunch of money. 'Cause at least that's the way it appears to me. I don't know if anybody has some.
Wow.
I think this rabbit hole goes a lot deeper than we have gone so far, and that
The
there's more
plot
that's going to come out.
thickens. Mamma mia.
Especially considering stuff that I've received in confidence about people talking about the situations there that I have to vet and stuff. So it's like
That's okay.
yeah, there's something happening.
Ooh, little did we know how far down the rabbit hole our morning was gonna go.
Well, yeah, that's
Wow.
it's quite the situation, and it's disappointing that something like that would be happening, and it's also a little bit what's the opposite of disappointing? It's encouraging to see how vocal the student body was about this. The petition actually is up to 1471 right now, and we'll have to see, and if there's any more developments in this situation, we'll definitely let you know.
Wow. Could be looking at a Haven 1, Haven 2 scenario there. That's very interesting what they did. What they done dude.
Absolutely.
Not cool. Well, I think it's time for a lovely song, Nate, and you told me you had something.
Well, we have the CD queued up here.
Yes,
did you want
please.
to play that one, number 12, I believe we're looking at?
Yes, this is Tom Lips, and it is in the bitter winter. This is wintertide. This is from the Christmas Platter. This is a local project that funds the food bank and a number of others, and it's all original material written in the Christmas theme by local artists. So we're going to feature Tom Lips.
Cool.
Yeah, we have to watch that we don't talk like over 10, 12, kind of, without throwing a song in.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people get a little.
Well, people,
We also- we
have a
also-
podcast, right?
Back in 2016, I had my very first visit as a guest on Canadian Spaces with Chris. This is back 2016. And the act that was in the studio that day was Naming the Twins. And amazing songwriters. And they really impressed me, and their duo broke up due to cancer. And although they are still called Naming the Twins, there is one twin that remains, and she keeps the music alive. And numerous choral groups have taken on this music and performed it. And
All right. So there's a couple of that we could choose here: "Angels in the Snow,"
yes.
"Painter of Wintertime," or "Sing the Winter Away."
Ah,
You have a particular.
well,
reference?
Sing the Winter Away is fun. Why don't we play that?
All right, let me grab that.
Awesome,
here.
folks. Awesome, folks. And really, it really impressed me. And I had so much fun that day in the studio that I decided to come back. And Chris White invited me back on a regular basis. The next thing you know, I was literally here on Saturdays for like a couple of years, enjoying my time with Chris and with CKCU, and I'm so grateful for that time. CKCU FM 93.1.
And I know the snows will soon
by 120%. Like that's ridiculous. 120%. This is why. So all of our elders, who many of which live in poverty or on very fixed income, we're going to put the price, the burden of the transit system on them.
I know. I live in a seniors co-op, and in trying to talk to my neighbors about like this and a few other things, one thing came up repeatedly, and that is, well, I guess I'm going to be stuck in for the winter. That just made me sad to think of that, because seniors need to get out. They need to be social.
Yeah, so the people will just be stuck at home. We're not going to go anywhere if we can't walk. It's ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
absolutely ridiculous. So on that, there's a little bit of good news. The city council voted to a new plan to fill the transit deficit. This is from the CBC article that was published by Arthur White Crumley on the 11th of December, so just a couple of days ago. So they've dialed it back a bit. They're no longer going to raise it by 120%. Now they're going to raise it by 19%. 120. They
That's
reduced
good.
the amount that they're raising it by an order of magnitude.
Okay, so like, did they fire one of their executives and now they're able to afford to only bring it up by 19%?
No, I believe that we are really hoping that as far as I can say, we're hoping that the federal government is going to help us with this.
That's the problem with being, we're the small city
Federal and provincial.
inside. Yeah, exactly. And we kind of get the shaft, I think, sometimes, because we're expected to cover all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That if we were a city apart from so much governmental, parliamentary stuff, we'd be getting far more help, far more support. So that kind of thing is a bit of a drain. I don't have any problem with people making money and earning a living, and as long as like people are doing their due diligence as well. And when people's salaries jump, I'm sorry, I'm speaking for myself now. I'm not speaking as a representative of CKCU. I'm just representing myself. My name is Maria Hawkins. If you have a complaint, my name is Maria. You can reach me, maria@mariahawkins.ca. However, this is my opinion. Once you get to the point where your salary is $3, $4, whatever $million, how much more money do you frickin' need? We're at a point now where people on the lower level of the wage scale are starving and not able to make ends meet, yet those on the upper echelon, that 1%, they give smiles and, oh, that's too bad, and whatever, but real meaningful change is only going to happen when you get some of those big bucks together and really make things happen. Why are we housing poor women that are homeless on cots inside a hockey arena? Like, we're better than this. We're better than the way we're acting. And that's what floors me. I guess I had this angelic view of politicians and stuff. I don't know. I think some of that U.S. stuff sure has woken me up to some things that I never thought like happen at that level. And then it made me think about what's going on around here.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. Something that comes to mind fairly often when you think about this just disparity in wages. Humans aren't really good at having a good grasp of large numbers and what those actually mean. So one of the good way to think about it is that what is a million seconds?
Wow. You mean like, should I do the math in my head, like how many hours, days, weeks that is?
Yes. No, I don't expect you to do it, but yes,
No.
that's the question.
Gotcha.
A million seconds is 11 and a half days. It's 2 weeks. A billion seconds is about 32 years. And a trillion seconds is 32,000 years. So when we're talking about, like, the difference between $1 million and $1 billion is a lifetime, half a lifetime.
Ah, I see where you're going with that, young Jedi.
compared to 2 weeks.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So it's the vastness of the wealth that has been hoarded is.
We are at a point now where we're coming up to New Year's resolutions, folks. So when you come to think about what your resolution is going to be, why don't you think of how you can help? And so this is Christmas. And what have you done? Another year older, a new one just begun. And that's where we're at, folks. We have to save ourselves. Who's gonna? I don't have a guy with a cape. No capes.
Okay.
We're
Kids get you sucked into jet engines anyway.
Oh. Back it up. There is, I don't know, I guess song lyrics always come to my head, but I'm holding on for a hero to the end of the night, and he's gotta be strong, and he's gotta be tough, and he's gotta be ready to fight. You know, like, I'm
Yeah.
holding on for a hero, and I'm sorry, there's certain people that aren't heroes in this world, but they sure are running stuff. Make your New Year's resolution, making
Be
a
the
difference.
hero that you need. Be
Huh.
the hero for others that you are holding on for.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good way to put it for sure.
Yeah. I
Well,
agree.
we're coming up on the hour here. We've got another 8 or 9 minutes left in our show. Do either of you have a vote for another song for the people?
I think Maria's been good so far. She's got a lot of great hits.
Well, there's it just is a little treat for me because I have jumped out on the ledge this morning. I'd like to dedicate a song to Cuso, to our friends over there in our union, to show them the love of what we bring to the table. So I'm gonna vote for number one. And Lynn Hanson, because I love Lynn Hanson and she writes beautiful music. And so this is for our student union with love from CKCU FM.
Cranberry Chop by Lynn Hanson. Saturday, 10 a.m. for the Canadian Spaces Live at Bella Vista Restaurant, and I'll give you a gift certificate if you come and ask for one. Anyway, that's our show. We have BBC News in 3 minutes, 2 minutes, or something like that. Anyways, thanks for being here. We'll be back in same time next week.
Thanks, Zach, for joining us. That was awesome.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Come back in anytime, brother. There. Another one safely in the can.